Hello and welcome to this introduction to the API design hands-on session, a night shift session we're doing at TechCom 2016 in Orlando. If you're in the session, welcome, and if you intend to, we'll see you there. Specifically, we're talking about a very elementary concept in API development, which we think of as the developer journey. Specifically, API implementation, it takes a few different cycles or areas in the life cycle. That is of design, of development or implementation, and finally the output of development is consumption done by different types of developers. I'm going to take you through these three aspects of the developer journey in this example today. I'm going to go back to this page. This is actually a GitHub repository, a bit of code that we're publishing out on GitHub. You can reach it at f/nanoquote. The context of NanoQuote is that we are modeling a very, very simple quotes resource or insurance quotes resource for travel insurance. And we will go through a design effort using the excellent Swagger editor and produce a resource model for quotes. We'll then go in and implement this using a mocking service called Sandbox, and then we'll use a couple of API consumer options to actually run the API. So let's get started. If you have access to this repo, the instructions are fairly straightforward. You'll start with the design effort. There's a handy NanoQuote Swagger spec in YAML format, which we simply go in and grab. If you have forked this, go in and grab it and go into the Swagger editor. The best place to do it is to get to the editor.swagger.ui, and there's a link to it in the Swagger in the repo. Grab this, paste it in here, and you will see two parts of it. The left-hand pane will be the Swagger YAML, and the right-hand side is the Swagger user interface or the Swagger UI project. A few interesting things to note here is that I can provide a host, and this is actually my live host on sandbox.com, which we'll get into in a minute. And then I simply provide my resource interactions or my models, and including what the properties associated with those models. At this point, I'm just going to collapse the YAML and show you what the interaction points are. We have these resources that I can interact with using standard HTTP verbs. I can do a post, I can do a get, and we will see what we can expect from these interactions. The next step, of course, is to do implementation. I ask you to take a look at the repo again. The next step here will be to get a Sandbox account, go to the equally excellent Sandbox or Get Sandbox website, and it'll probably, once you log in, you get to the dashboard, and you can create a new API. A really easy way to do that is simply to import a Swagger specification, grab the one that's on the repo, browse to it, open it. I won't do that here, and we'll simply instead go to the previously created NanoQuote API. We'll see that there are two parts to it. There is an overview that gets to a list of available APIs, and then the coding part is what we're really interested in. All of this is generated for us, and the API.js is what we mock. I encourage you to take a look at this, but really an easy way to get started is to go to the sample API.js here in the repository, cut and paste it, copy and paste it into Sandbox. And this is standard Node.js JavaScript to interact with the local repository. It is NoSQL, and we simply take JSON objects. The key here is that there is a state object, and we can create arbitrary JSON objects within that. Once you have this, we simply save, and that will publish, and next we get into the final part of the API journey, and that is to consume. To do that, I'm going to go to Postman. If I refer to my Swagger UI, we'll see that we can do post, we can do get, and we're going to consume it one of two ways. One is through Postman itself, and if I simply go to do a get on the URI for the quotes collection, do a send, it should show me a list of available quotes. We've been experimenting with this a bit. You'll see that it has the travel date to and from, and we even generate a fake premium that is for right now. I can post a brand new one. I can post to this collection resource, and it acts as a factory. And let's say I am traveling to Orlando from Atlanta in a couple of days. So let me change the date, or Atlanta to Orlando, and there it is. I created a new document resource and generated a premium. At this point, if I do a get, I should see probably an extra one over here. I can also issue deletes. So let's say I want to delete the fifth one. I get a status OK. And as a quick reminder, a delete is, I should be able to send it again with a similar status, since a delete is an idempotent operation, I believe. So finally, if we go back to the Swagger UI, I wanted to show another feature where the Swagger UI itself can act as an API consumer. We'll leave all the defaults here, and if I simply send a GET request to my collection resource, I should be able to see a list of resources. If I open one, I'll see, for example, a quote ID 8. I go to the next URI, which is a document collection, a quote document, and I should be able to go and fetch the 8th quote. And this is my state object from here. That concludes our demonstration, and we'll see that we went from the API designer, developer, and consumer journey. I encourage you to visit the NanoQuote GitHub repository, fork the repo, and follow along these steps. See you at TechCom. Thanks. Bye.